Hey everyone, I want to thank you for checking out my broadcast today. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 291 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, a couple things about me. I'm 39 years old. I'm married. I've been overweight my whole life, and I got to a point last year where I couldn't get any bigger. I was 520 pounds and I knew I needed to do something. And so that's why I started this channel and this challenge, with two big focuses in mind. One of them being to lose 300 pounds, but the bigger focus is to stick with it for 3 years, to do something, to be committed to doing it for longer than I had ever committed to doing any diet before. And so, like I said, I'm 291 days in. So I'm not quite to 10 months, but getting close there. Today is normally weigh-in Wednesday. I'm not weighing in. I'm avoiding the scale until the end of the month. I will be weighing in on or around the first of the month. So Carrie's checking in, says happy hump day. Carrie, I hope everything's going well at home. I hope everybody else has been doing well, as you know, or doing good as well. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear how you guys are doing on your diet. If you're succeeding, having struggles, maybe there's something that I can help you with. And if you haven't started a diet, what's keeping you from getting started? What's keeping you from just going in and doing it? I did want to take a minute and just say thanks to a few of the people that have made comments over the past week. Wayne has been making comments. Stoned Hobbit said you were 46 days into a water fast. I'd love to know how that's going for you. Then Chris Slayer as well said you were working on doing a whole food plant-based diet. I'd love to hear how that's going as well for you too. And then also the Golden and One Less Food Addict. I just wanted to thank you guys for making comments, and I hope things are going well for you guys and you're finding what you need with your diet. Since yesterday, I haven't had on Jennifer. I hope things are going well with you as well. Jen saying hi here. Didn't have, don't have a super exciting life. So didn't have a whole lot going on since yesterday, but, one of the things I guess is I wrote down as a non-scale victory. I'm not sure exactly if it's a non-scale victory or what exactly it is, but I'm in Carrie and me, we've started to pull out, and I have more clothes available to me right now that are fitting me that didn't used to fit. So I'm wearing more. I have a few more 3X shirts in my dresser than I used to have. And I'm starting to find that I'm uncomfortable in my old shirts that were 4 or 5X. And so I was thinking about it today because I'm wearing a shirt now that is a 4X, but it's a shirt it's been a long time since I've worn this kind of particular shirt. I've been wearing them for the last week or two now, but I wasn't wearing 4X. I've been wearing a lot of 3Xs, and I am realizing I need to just get rid of those 5 and 6X shirts that we have kind of floating around, because I'll still put them on. And I wore one on stream the other day. Actually, I wore it to work, and the whole day I was annoyed because the neck of it is like comes out to like here, it's just huge on me. And I was just thinking about that today, that I need to go through, kind of purge some of that old clothing that we're not going to be wearing again, get rid of it. I know we probably have some more clothing that I'm starting to get to a point where I can fit in, fit in. Carrie says, will you be donating them? Um, yeah, I suppose. I mean, we do quite a bit of donations. I imagine that I wouldn't be, um, uh, yeah, I suppose if we donate them, though, I want to donate them with a note that says, "Hey, if you know, follow this channel if you want to know how not to wear this size clothes anymore." Then we can donate. Like maybe we can write that in the back tag. Um, so maybe they'll find the channel and they can find something uh, that helps them, right? So yeah, that was my non-scale victory. Just something simple. But it'll be nice to get rid of that clothing. I guess it's not that simple. It's been something where that was a big moment when we Carrie says, what happens when you get skinnier than your skinny clothes? Well then yeah, I'm excited about that. And that's when we start going to Goodwill and stuff, start looking for clothes. But yeah, so that's going to be good to get rid of that stuff. And we'll just keep working on it and go from there. Other than that, I spent most of my afternoon cutting grass. We have a large area that requires mowing, and it had been a long time since I had mowed a good chunk of it. So I needed to get on the riding mower and mow it. So that's what I ended up spending most of my time last night working on. Carrie went to go to a friend's house. They watched a movie with the kids, or with some of our kids, and I cut grass. So the nice thing about losing this weight is how much easier something like cutting grass still is. Even on a riding mower, it's a pain, but getting off the mower to move things around or to adjust or get things out of the yard that you don't want to run over, all of that stuff is just infinitely better with the 200 pounds off of me. I mean, there's also wear and tear I probably would have put on the mower itself from pushing on the seat and coming up and down, and it having to run with an additional 200 pounds on it. I mean, that would be like having two people sitting on a mower designed for one. And it was handling it, but it's much better where I'm at now. The other thing that we had going on with let's see, I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought for some reason. But yeah, I just going over kind of what I ate, I guess, since yesterday. I got home and ended up having an ear of corn. I don't know if I've talked about microwaving an ear of corn on here. I think I have, but I've lived in Iowa my whole life. I never knew that microwaving corn on the cob was a thing. Until something this year where somebody did it, and it was like an epiphany, which, I mean, or not, yeah, whatever. It was amazing. Best thing since sliced bread, because you're able to throw the corn right in the microwave in its stalk and just nuke it and then pull it out. There's no worry about whether or not it was in water that was salted. Not that I would really worry about corn that was cooked in water that was salted, but and it's much quicker than taking the time to boil water and then cook the corn in the boiled water. So I ended up having corn last night. we ended up having a huge salad, like a spinach based salad with all of the colors of the rainbow except for blue. But we had all kinds of stuff. Carrie says I should pick some corn up on the way home. Yes, I was giving her a hard time yesterday when I got home, and we only had really enough corn for me to have an ear of corn. And I would have liked to have had 2 ears of corn. The why are you hating on blue? I don't know what. Oh, blue. Why? Oh, we didn't have blue in our salad. Yes. I don't know. I don't know what foods you put in a salad that are blue. Uh, wait, Alex says, wait, you don't eat the corn raw off the stalk, just like the Field of Dreams players. Yeah, that's not. I. It's funny you say that because I actually was telling Carrie. So this is all a conversation we had yesterday. I guess it's really not that funny, but I was coming home and I had watched a video yesterday about a guy who was talking about costs of food and eating kind of a similar diet that we eat, and how it's upsetting him that how expensive food is in general, and then the food that we eat really the way he expressed it should be free. There should be we should have, like, every tree that has ever been planted in a neighborhood should have been a fruit tree. Like, we should have fruit and vegetables growing all around us, and then we would have a lot less issues with fruit and and that's essentially what he was saying. And on my way home, I live in Iowa, and for the last 5 minutes of my drive, the last few miles, it is just nothing but corn from, both sides of me for miles, kind of as far as you can see. And none of it's corn that is edible. None of it's human feed. It's all feed corn. It's all corn that's going in for processing. And so I did get a little bit disappointed that I couldn't just grab an ear of corn off of a stalk that's right on the side of the road. And then I got home. Carrie explained that we had some corn, but not a lot of corn, and that I need to stop at the stand that is in the middle of all these cornfields that don't have corn you can eat that sells it. So, yeah. And so, yeah, I got that, Jen, with the blue. So anywho, I had corn. We had a salad that had everything but blue in it, and it was great. Carrie makes a really good mustard dressing that I'm sure is shared on our Discord. That is all kinds of fun stuff, including mustard and maple syrup, I believe, is in it. So it's very sweet, but it is a wonderful dressing that we kind of eat on everything. Our salads, I'll eat potatoes with it. I'll put it on just rice. I even tried dipping my corn in it yesterday. I don't think that's going to catch on, but we did have that salad with the big dressing. And so I had dinner and was cutting the grass. And while I was cutting the grass, I was listening to How Not to Diet by Dr. Greger. And I don't know, I'm halfway through the books, so I'm only about 12 hours in listening to it, an audiobook. But he was talking, and I've had a few other instances where I've seen them talking about how the fruit and the vegetables that we eat at the grocery store, while they're great and we eat them and they're ripe and they're wonderful for us, they're not as good as if you had that same fruit or vegetable at the time that it was picked. Like he made a comment that apples in particular, that an apple that you buy from the grocery store could have been picked 10 months ago. And so it's actually been dying for the last 10 months. And that there's nutrients that you miss out in by not eating fresher fruit. Not that he was knocking, eating fruit and vegetables at all, but he was just talking about the freshness of it. And we happen to have an apple tree in our yard that is producing a lot of apples this year. We have a few other fruits on our property that are producing fruit better than they have in the last few years. And so, that milk in the lettuce on whatever, I don't know. I'm not sure what Carrie's talking about, but so he was talking about eating fresh fruit, and I was cutting the grass, and we have this tree that's been producing fruit great, and I picked one of the apples kind of as I was going by and ate it, and it was amazing. It was delicious, and I actually ended up I went and grabbed, we have like this big stick apple picker, so it's got like a basket on the end of it with these fingers that you kind of hook on the fruit and then pull, and it causes it to fall into a little basket that's on it. And I went and I grabbed the fruit picker and I brought it over to the tree. Oh yes, yeah, okay, I get you. Okay, so I grabbed the fruit picker and I ended up, as I was driving by the tree, I would grab the fruit picker and I'd reach up and I'd pull down an apple. I think I had 4 or 5 apples yesterday as I was mowing the grass, and they were amazing. They tasted great, and it was just kind of funny because I'd just been listening to Dr. Greger talk about eating fresher fruits and things like that, and then Carrie kind of explained what I was talking about, the milk and the lettuce. Yes, so I was watching a documentary. It might be in the description still, but it was the Need to Grow was the name of the documentary. It was maybe on YouTube for free, or it was somewhere that I saw that, and it was about that particular segment was about a guy in California who was doing a kind of community garden on a like concrete parking lot using different growing techniques, and he had picked some fresh lettuce, and when he snapped the lettuce there was like a milkiness, and he was like, you can only get that if you eat that lettuce within the first day or two of when it's picked, and by the time you get it in at the grocery store, all of that is gone. So there is nutritional benefits to that stuff that you're missing out on because we're eating. And Dr. Greger did make a comment that the produce and the fruits and vegetables that we eat now, we eat because they're grown because of how long they can stay ripe, or how long that and not, yeah, they're grown for their longevity and not necessarily grown for their taste. I was actually looking up a little bit on a fruit called the pawpaw. Dr. Greger said that is actually his favorite fruit, but because it is so delicate it can't be sold in the US commercially. But it grows natively in the United States, which I thought was crazy that there was a fruit that grows native in the US that they can't sell commercially, I believe, just because it goes bad quickly or something like that. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And yeah, so eating those apples, I felt great, and it was, I ate them, and it's a weird thing with this diet and kind of how I have these weird, so Alex says, yeah, our bananas today are terrible compared to the real tasty bananas. Yeah, there was a guy that I was listening to, again, his channel's called The Vegetable Police, but he was talking about, he eats these bananas that he buys in these packages that are like real small bananas, but they don't look like the normal bananas that you get at a store. And he was talking about how amazing those were. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of fruits out there that we wouldn't, the mango, I saw somewhere that mango is one of the most popular fruits in the world, but just not in the US. Like, I would not have known that prior to this diet. Like, I love dehydrated mango. I've had mango smoothies. I enjoy mangoes, and it's not something that I ever would have tried because it's not a popular fruit in the Midwest where I live. You know, you don't have a lot of mango trees around here. So it's, you know, the mangoes that we get probably have traveled pretty far to get here. And in that time, they probably lose some of their taste and their goodness, I guess. Let's see. I had, yeah. So the other thing I was going to talk about, that it was weird because with this diet, I have a lot of different philosophies and changes with how I think about things. And like when I was eating off the apples off the apple tree, I was just having this weird kind of thought about like how that would have been. Like, there's a lot of apples on that apple tree. And but there's only so long that they would be edible while they're on the tree. And like, I don't think that I would, I guess it depends on how abundant food would have been. You know, it's weird, like, to think about being around in, you know, 20,000 years ago, and how that humans weren't that much different than we are now, but they lived much different. But would I have sat under that tree and protected it and ate it till every fruit was gone and, you know, kept people away? Or would it have been something where everybody, you know, there's just so much food around that there's an abundance of it that we wouldn't fight over it? But Alex says food censorship due to ease of transport and longevity. Okay. Right. So I think you're saying like we don't see that food because of the transport and longevity is so that's how it's like censored towards us, I believe, is what you're saying. But yeah, and I had the same thought like when I was eating an ear of corn a couple days ago, and how I like was eating the corn, and usually corn is a side dish. It's not my meal. It's not something that is that in the past. It was, oh, I'm going to have a big steak, or I'm going to have hot dogs, and we're going to have an ear of corn at the barbecue with our pork steaks and all this other stuff. And so it was never something where I thought about finishing the ear of corn and making sure that every single kernel was off of that corn. But in a food scarce environment, I'd be eating every morsel off of that, and I'd be making sure, you know, or I'd be eating my fill of it, and then I'd be handing it to my kids and letting them eat the morsels off of it, I suppose. But because we don't live in a food scarce world, we don't think that way, or we don't do things that way. And I was thinking the same way when I was eating the apples. One of the things I noticed about the apples that I was eating in my yard is that there wasn't much of an apple core in them. Like, there wasn't a lot of seeds. I'm sure there was, but there wasn't much of a core. And so, I was, like, the only thing I was avoiding some of like the bites that were like, there was, you know, black spots on the outsides of the apple, but I was finding that like I was getting down to the end of the apple, and I was thinking, wow, there's still a lot of good apple left on this, like, that is edible, you know, parts of it that I would just be throwing away normally. And so it, you know, I kind of was eating a bit more of it than I normally would, kind of wasting as little of the fruit as possible. Like, when you think about like the wasting of the meat, you know, like they talk about using all of the animal and not being wasteful of that, and using every bit of it. But we don't think that same way about fruits and vegetables. You know, you would, you know, throw away half a salad because your main course showed up while you were eating the salad and it looks way better, you know? Jen says, I have eaten just corn for a meal. I have multiple times now. And then Alex says, yeah, but you're weird, Chet. Oh, known that for quite a while now. I'm going on 40 years of that knowledge. So, um, but the uh, but yeah, just because we don't live in a food scarce environment, I think is the big part of why we don't think of food in that way, or we allow, because things like fruits and vegetables in our minds, they grow for free because they kind of do, 'cause they've been around, whereas you understand the justification of the cost for beef because you know the process. It's amazing uh how much of that stuff we kind of know and we still don't care, about the process that of the meat and the dairy and the poultry industries, like the you know we, especially living in Iowa, I guess maybe that's just being around that kind of stuff, but I understand that process far more than I understand how they, like strawberries and things like that, I guess, other than that they just pick them. I don't know if there's a um machine that picks a lot of the fruits and vegetables, or if they're hand picked, or how that even works, like, but I know how, kind of how cows are raised and how they're processed and what happens to them from life to death. But anyways, uh it's caused, changing to this diet has caused a lot of changes in my, philosophies on food and a lot of the way I view things. I'm happy that I'm no longer eating a lot of the foods that were kind of known to be addictive, or kind of it's okay. Um, and that I'm most happy that I'm not being marketed to for the food that I'm eating. Like uh I've said it before, the best thing they can do to market it to me is make bigger fruit or make it more ripe looking. They're not going to win us over, but with their packaging now, it's not how that works with us anymore, and it's not about making sure that they have the product on the end cap on this weekend because this event's happening. Those things don't matter to us anymore. um Alex says, living in California, I can tell you that they are mostly, if not 100% handpicked. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's an amazing amount of effort that goes into that. That's just wild. So, uh, but, and then it has to travel all that distance to get here and all kinds of crazy stuff. And yeah, it makes me also want to look more into how to be more sustainable on our own, like where I don't have to rely on fruit that comes from 500 miles away, because I wouldn't have relied on that up until the last, what, 20, 30 years, like didn't, having this access to all of the fruits that we have in the grocery stores is pretty amazing, and it's awesome. And I feel like we don't take as much advantage that we have access to all of those fresh fruits and vegetables, um, when that's what we're meant to. Yeah, Alex, Iowa common knowledge versus California common knowledge, probably. I mean, yeah, uh, you know, I can imagine, because in Iowa, all the corn is picked by machines. I mean, all of the soy is picked by machines. It's not, the grapes, I guess, are picked by hand. That the few grapes places, whatever you. Anyways, um, so I am gonna get out of here for today, though. I really appreciate everybody being on and all the comments. Stone, yeah, I see. You bet. You guys, I'll be on again tomorrow. Just to kind of check in with how things are going. But kind of like I said, diet's been going good. I guess I didn't really go over what I ate today, but it was really just oatmeal for breakfast. I ended up having shredded wheat here at work. And then tonight, I'm sure we're going to have something amazing, because Carrie is an amazing chef and makes wonderful food. But we'll have something for dinner tonight. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button and the bell icon. Turn on notifications. I have a Discord that we started. That's where pizza. We haven't had pizza in a minute. I'm excited for dinner now. We're getting out of here. Yeah, that'll work. Anyways, again, like I said, I appreciate everybody following the channel and making comments, things like that. I'm going to get out of here for today. If you guys haven't started a diet yet, get started now. There's no reason in sticking with that old diet. Alex says, put corn on the pizza. It's great. There's definitely going to be corn on the pizza, Alex. That is a must-have. It'll be corn and some other wonderful toppings. Jen says that they're probably having pizza too. I bet they killed more animals. So just saying, more animals died for your pizza than mine. And then Carrie says she picked up putting corn on the pizza studying in England. You know what? Anyway, you got to eat the pineapple. If you got to eat you just can't have the Canadian bacon though, or the ham. Got to eat it with just pineapple. We actually had a meal the other day. The pineapple was the only thing that saved it. It was some pretty interesting oatmeal that was saved by some pineapple. Anyways, I don't know if I got through the whole Discord thing, but a lot of the meals that we eat, I'm sure Carrie has that pizza recipe shared on the Discord as well that we're having for dinner. But I will be back on tomorrow at 4:00 for another exciting update on how my crazy life is going. So you guys all have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow.